Hey, welcome to the Northeast Hunt and Film Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Alex. Here you'll find hunting stories and strategies based mainly out of the Northeast, but we'll also include hunts from all around the country. If you can hunt it and you can film it, chances are we're going to talk about it on here. Enjoy. Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of the Northeast Hunt and Film Podcast. I'm joined this week by Brett Joy and Chris Dame of Just Hunt Club. We talk about filming tips and strategies, advice for beginner creators, or people just getting into filming their hunts, some deer hunting, some turkey hunting, controversy surrounding YouTube, hunting multiple states and different states, and different experiences around hunting around the country, and just some mishaps and a lot of laughs along the way. They're currently doing a giveaway right now on their website. To be eligible, you have to be subscribed on YouTube. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook at Just Hunt Club, and then go on their website justhuntclub.com and subscribe and get signed up for their email list, and that will automatically enter you into the contest. First place is a hunt, I guess basically a guided hunt with John Lewis and Brett Joy in New Hampshire, and a Mossberg turkey gun of your choice. And second place is a Mossberg 940 in 12 gauge, I believe. I think there's hunt stand memberships with both of those. So go and check that out. If you don't know Just Hunt Club, they're a really, really dedicated bunch of dudes. They're just putting out some serious content surrounding hunting, different ways and strategies and species in the Northeast. They hunt other places in the country too, but specialize in the Northeast because that's where they all live. But yeah, it's a good one. A lot of laughs, a lot of BS, and Chris Dame, aka Cameraman Chris, is a really talented videographer and photographer. So it's cool to get those guys on, talk some camera gear stuff, and we don't stay on it the whole podcast because I understand that, some people listening don't give a shit about camera stuff, and something I'm into, and hopefully there's some people out there that want to get into it because the Northeast could use a bigger representation. Not a lot on my end. I'll be down at the Springfield Sportsman Show down in Springfield, Mass. I won't have a booth or anything, but I'll be down there Saturday milling around, and I'll probably be at the Hunt Suburbia booth quite a bit, visiting with Pat, and definitely get down there, get your hunt stock tickets in person, because I think it's fitting to go up in price after, I forget what date. I think he said April 1st or something. They're just trying to get a gauge on attendance so they can order appropriate amount of food and whatnot and all that stuff. Pat's working hard on that, so definitely if you're interested in going, I would highly suggest getting on, go on Hunt Suburbia and follow the links there to, I think Eventbrite is where you get the tickets. Get yourself a ticket, and I'll be down there. I'll have a booth down there. And I am talking to the folks at Total Archery Challenge, the one that's going on in Killington, or Pico, which is the same area. It's the same mountain. And I'm trying to get a booth set up there. I also got to get my bow set up to be able to shoot that so I don't lose all my arrows. But that's going to be cool. I've never been to one of those. Always wanted to do it. It just seems like a good time. Yeah, I'd like to have a booth there, do some podcasts, and have a couple people on and shoot the shit. I still have the podcast logo stickers on the website, and I got another design coming that they screwed up on the first time, but I just got an email that they are shipped, so they should be coming sometime mid next week. Be looking for those. I'll make a post on social media about it. Go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Northeast Hunt and Film. And make sure you go follow Brett Joy and Chris Dame on Instagram and subscribe to Just Hunt Club on YouTube. I'll leave links in the show notes and whatnot. So, yeah, I'll quit flapping my lips here and get into this podcast with Brett Joy and Christopher Dame, a.k.a. Cameraman Chris. All right, we're live. Another episode of Northeast Hunt and Film. Joined this evening with Brett Joy and Chris Dame from Just Hunt Club. What's going on, boys?
How's it going? Just if anybody is wondering, and here's a little squeaking voice, I have my 13-month-old daughter on my knee. We're all at my place, so bear with us. But I think she's going to be pretty quiet. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, no
found
problem.
The place, which
Thanks
is
for
an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, I don't know what, like, it didn't even bring us close.
The first time I ever came to Brett's house years back, you gave me the same address. I don't know why it brought me in the way it did, but
You went left at the top of the hill?
oh, I don't know where I was. I was on the other side of this piece here behind us trying to come up a Class 6 road, and he was like, you got to go around. It just made no sense to me.
Yeah.
Now it's so familiar. I really don't know where I was.
Almost no one gets here clean from the GPS. There's always a bit of a snafu, almost no matter how you try to do it.
Yeah, I stopped because it just came to a snowbank, and I stopped, and there's like a lady in the window looking out, and I'm like,
Is that what happened?
and then some dude comes in the window. She's like, Amy goes, is that him? I'm like, nope. So some other lady came out and was like getting into like a 96 Subaru, and I was like, is Brett Joy around here? She knew who you were.
That's good.
She's like, yeah, you got to go back through the T, and like you're heading towards this town. And I'm like, I don't know where I am. Brett goes, she sounds like she knows where she's going. Follow her.
This was just at someone's house?
Yeah. Yeah, it just dead ended, and we were right in somebody's dooryard.
I'm
But
curious if you came to the same road that I did just years ago.
right, and if it makes sense if it was a Class 6 road and they don't plow it, there's a big snowbank in front of it.
Right. Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe it was.
Oh, man. Onyx pins.
Yeah, I guess I could have done that.
But yeah, we're gonna talk a little filming, a little about you guys this season and what's in store for the future. So I guess to start
Sounds
out,
good.
if you guys want to introduce yourselves and
I'm gonna let Chris talk on this one pretty heavy. So go ahead, take it away, Chris.
Okay. What do you want to know about me?
what's your name, what you do.
I'm a cameraman. I hunt a little bit on the channel. I met Brett, I'd say it was about 3 years ago.
Yeah. Just about now.
Just kind of messaged him out of the blue. And that year, actually, they were talking with Realtree, and that whole thing came together with Realtree Seabucks, and
Which is an awesome series.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun filming it. But then Just Hunt Club started, and here we are now.
Yeah, Chris. Funny story. I might have told this before, but when Chris first messaged me, he's like, "I think I'm gonna be, I'll be a good camera guy." He's like, "I'm telling you, but good." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "We'll see." He was right. He's definitely probably the most talented one we got. So.
So how many in the group film?
Pretty much everybody.
Yeah, I think everyone is like pretty well rounded.
Yeah,
Like
obviously,
everyone can
some
film.
are better than others, but
Yeah.
I'd say everybody at a baseline can run a camera. Some people are more advanced than others, but yeah, I mean, pretty much anybody in the group can produce a pretty quality production, at least for like YouTube, which is what we cater to. So the Seabuck series, that's was a little bit higher production, but YouTube isn't quite that. So
Yeah, I think what we do
opens
now
up.
is a lot easier to film.
Yeah,
It's a little
it's different style.
Yeah,
really, that's the
definitely a
biggest
different
thing.
style.
Just kind of geared towards YouTube and that type of content and viewer, versus the Seabucks, which is like higher produced, almost like
with
TV.
like Will and
Yeah.
He's
He's really good.
Yeah,
one
he's-
of the best in the country. Actually, I learned a lot from William Altman. And that's who we're talking about. He's with, I guess, Hunting, Maine. He films Donnie Vincent. He's super talented videographer, cinematographer quiet down, in the outdoor industry. He films Donnie Vincent and field produces all his films. So he's I don't know. There's not many people doing that type of quality out there. So I learned a lot from, especially on the gear side. He helped out big time. So all the gear, a lot of the gear that we use kind of started with William and me talking, him sending me, hey, you see this camera that came out, or these mics, or this whatever, and us kind of discussing it, and then end up with me making purchases and kind of steering our production.
Yep.
What do you use, Jason? Are you a Canon guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Canon. I got an XA11 camcorder, and she's got the Rebel SL3 DSLR, and then just a couple GoPros, and pretty low-key operation.
Yep.
It's a lot of me filming myself, when I'm not filming with Timmy from Big Woods. So, you can only do so much in a tree with a tree arm and a camcorder.
Yep.
Yeah, self-filming is very tough.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys think it's a challenge to do, and they enjoy that challenge. I don't. That's one I enjoy a lot of different challenges, but that one I really don't enjoy. I think it.
No.
For me, I get very focused on like the particular task I'm doing. So when I'm trying to self-film, I either fail at filming or fail at hunting.
Yep.
And neither one's acceptable for me,
Yep.
so I just kind of refuse to do it. I do it maybe, I don't know if I even did it all this year, but maybe one day a year you end up doing it. But it just doesn't.
It's extremely hard for
Yeah.
what and how we do it. I think it's just bring a second guy with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, figure it out somehow.
Yeah.
Just
Or-
the sheer
yeah.
weight, the sheer extra weight you got to bring in by yourself, and like,
I hate the
It
stuff you
sucks
got to
the
bring
fun
when
out of
there's
it.
two people. Never
Yeah.
mind one. Like I'm always like crazy about weight, and never mind bringing all of it yourself, all the camera gear plus your hunting gear.
yeah.
We have a really good system, though.
Yeah, we do.
I think
It
we
works
do
really
a
well.
really good job. I
It's
can
like
talk about that a
streamlined.
little
Yeah,
bit.
why don't you? We can kind of. I don't know if that you're interested in that, but running through kind of
Yeah.
what we do, and obviously it's a little bit different when we're like turkey hunting or maybe tracking or still hunting, but our filming out of a tree setup's pretty well dialed, I'd say at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, Brett usually has. I mean, you've got a lot of stands set, so there's usually a lot of stands we're going to.
That helps.
There's one there, so either myself or him will bring an extra stand. So that's one of the components, and then he's either got a rifle or a bow, sometimes both. And then the backpack that I run, it keeps everything pretty organized. It's actually super small for a camera backpack, but it holds everything I need. It holds the body. I'll usually carry in 2 lenses.
Yep.
The 28 to 300 is what I'll pop on in the tree, and then usually run, what is it,
The wide.
We've
16
changed
16 to
multiple.
35.
Yeah, so I'll run that to the tree so I can get some footage going to the
Yep.
tree. The camera arm hangs off the side of the backpack, and then I'll use gear ties to tie up my gear. We'll walk in our base layers. I guess that's all depending on what time of the year it is, but most of the time we hunt a lot in November, so it's cold. So my gear's hanging off the back. He'll carry the shoulder and the strap. And it's just a wicked good system. We get the stand hung, we climb.
Try to bring try to streamline it so we have just enough gear.
Yeah.
And just big
Yeah.
enough pack and just enough. We never want excess because, especially when you're hunting day after day after day, I mean, it doesn't seem like a big deal if you're talking like 2 extra pounds, but after 30 miles, like in and out of the stand or whatever for a week or two, it's like that starts to really suck. So we
Yeah.
try to really only take what we absolutely need. And we've got it down pretty well at this point now. I don't think I really have any gripes with any of our setup. The big thing we went through to this year is just running GoPro 9 Heroes instead of we had a small Sony RXO that shot like the same basically profile as our Sony cameras, our mirrorless that we film everything with. But that was just not a great solution because it didn't have autofocus. It was a little bit too tight. It was a 24 millimeter, and battery life just wasn't great. All right, hold
She's
on
got a
second.
noisy toy.
You have to go upstairs, little lady.
But yeah, actually, I never got into the Canon. One of the guys, Jamin, that works full time for us right now, filming, uses the Canon. I believe it's the R5.
Mm-hmm.
It's brand new. It's one of their better filming.
Yep.
Well, it takes pictures too, but I tried it out a little bit. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Sony guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they threw me into it. I had my own camcorder. I had the what was it? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it was called like a PXW X70 or something like that. It was a camcorder years ago, probably 4 years ago, and I was running that, and then I had sent Brett a bunch of my footage so he could watch it. And then I saw that I started filming with these guys. We did Seabucks,
Yep.
and I saw the mirrorless bodies that they were using and jumped into those. I've just always used Sony. I like them a lot. I think they're very simplistic. I like the FX3 the most. It's more geared towards filming, so I think it's only like 22 megapixel for stills.
Yeah.
But it's just, actually, it's right here. It's super. Can you still hear me? It's super simple.
Are we rolling still?
Yeah.
It's got the record button on top.
Okay.
It is on a battery in it. It's got your modes that can shoot 24 frames,
30,
120.
60, 120, 240, but without
Yep.
audio, and then
120
1080.
is key.
Yeah, it shoots awesome 120
Yep.
in 4K,
Yep.
10-bit. That's nice. Yeah, I think the Canon versus Sony is not. You can't really go wrong with either. The two main reasons.
It's Red Sox versus Yankees,
Yeah.
really.
The main
Which
reason.
which team are you
Well, the
on?
Red Sox won this year, so
Yeah, main reason we use that the Sonys in general have for the past few years is just they're, I think, superior to almost anything else in low light, and that's critical. For turkey hunting, because a lot of times
Yep.
it's like first thing in the morning, and then if we're bow hunting for deer, a lot of that stuff's first light and last light. During the rut, if we're in a stand or we're tracking, that's not as big of a consideration, but it's a real big consideration when it's the last 10 minutes illegal and you have a big buck come in and it's like either good footage or like terrible noisy junk that's not unusable to try to use it. But that camera can shoot as long as pretty much you can. So that's the big reason. We have put that up against Canon like head to head, and it does edge it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's the FX3. I don't know if you guys already talked about it, but I ran upstairs. But yeah, we really like that. The other thing is it has an awesome picture profile that takes very little color grading after and post. So for the style that we film, producing semi-live, if you will, YouTube content, it's a lot faster to turn that stuff around. It doesn't take so much. So if you're grading like log footage or whatnot, that's super labor intensive and time intensive, and it's super touchy. But that has a profile. I think what's it called? Cinetone. I don't know. I can't remember. I think it's called Cinetone. But it has really good colors right out of the camera. Very little grading. So although Canon has great colors as well.
Yeah,
so.
if you shoot in that, it's called something similar to Cinetone.
Is it? Yeah.
Something. It shoots
Yeah.
really good color. I like Canon's color, but it's It's
I
always,
would say Canon probably
Canon's
has,
low end camera versus
Yeah.
Sony's low end camera. They're going to be comparable, and then you get paying more, and it's all just what works.
What did you say? iPhone? Oh. Another thing is these iPhones are taking unbelievable video
Yeah,
these days too.
it's a little scary for a photographer.
We'll slide in some iPhone footage in our stuff, and you won't tell the difference real quick if we have a clip.
This
done
iPhone
that.
13 sucks.
Really?
Yeah, I can't get the thing to focus at night ever.
Well, it's probably too dark for it, but
Well, be better than Apple.
in daylight.
Get
but-
together, Steve Jobs.
So
Oh,
yeah,
wait,
that's
he's
the
dead.
what else about the filming setup? I guess that's about it. We're on the 4th hour arm. I don't know where I kind of fell off.
I
there
feel
for
like
a
I'm
sec,
just
but-
like I feel like I just get off topic very quickly. I'll start talking about like tree stands, and then I'm like on cameras.
That's
I
how these
mentioned-
things are supposed to go. It's supposed to just.
Yeah.
I did mention we hang the camera arm off the pack. I was just trying to give them a visual of how we pack in.
Yep, off the
Yep.
pack, the shoulder. Sometimes, well, it depends, but it's either in the hunter's pack or the camera pack on one side, the arms on the other. The good thing about the 4th arrow shoulder we use, it has like a hook on the bottom, so you can hang the pack off the shoulder. So it's kind of like everything's right there. That's really nice.
I don't do that,
Unless,
though.
what's that?
I don't really do that.
Well, it depends. Sometimes it's in the hunter's way if there's a shot in that direction with a bow.
Yeah.
We always try to put the camera stand 90 degrees off the right shoulder of the camera stand, and the platform of the camera stand at the seat level of the hunter stand. So that ideally, obviously, every tree is different. Sometimes that's impossible, but that's what we kind of try to hit if we can. That seems like then you're kind of right over the shoulder of the hunter, and then you're right there when anything happens. You have a really similar view to the hunter, and then interviews are easy. You can communicate super easy. That's actually a big one, I think, for whether you're in a tree or on the ground or whatever. It's just being able to communicate with the cameraman and the hunter, having that communication about what's going on. That's something I see a lot. Like people will set up when they're like just too far from the hunter. It just you're not, if you're trying to film like a deer or a shot, you're not going to have the same view, especially if you're in the timber, if you're just offset or 10 yards back.
Jamin in New York.
It's not his fault, but yeah. Or even just communication, like saying like, hey, what's going on? Or like, give me an update or whatever. Like just right there. And then
Being
it's
able
quick
to hear
and
each
fast.
other without yelling.
Yeah. So
Spooking
I always
shit.
try to get like as close as I can, like right there. Like if you trip, you like fall into him type of thing. Or if the guy stops fast, if you're tracking, you kind of like bump into him. I really try to stay right there. But yeah.
Do you have the long lens affixed to the camera arm, and then you just switch the body out between lenses if you want some close stuff?
Yeah,
or?
it's got a foot on it, so it sits on the, I don't know what it's called, but the bracket that comes down off it. It has the plate on it, and that is already
right
on the camera arm.
So you can take the body of the DSLR out, or SLR,
Yeah, exactly.
or mirrorless, I guess.
Also, I'll film a little bit, when we're getting into the tree. Most of the time, you can only see him through his headlamp or whatever. Just cool, creative shots.
Yeah, but
And
you've
then I'll
got some
swap the
cool
body out.
shots in the dark, like climbing in and out of the tree and getting ready with like a red or green light or whatever, or like just barely like or
You actually have one right
daylight
here.
coming.
You might have seen it. Well, you definitely saw it if you watched the video, but just kidding. I deleted it, like everything else.
So we'll move off filming a little bit here, but first, so if you guys were to give somebody just getting into it, what would you start with? Maybe not go full on body camera arm,
I would
just a GoPro and see if you like even editing footage.
definitely. Well, that's a big thing. I don't edit footage at all.
Right.
I do not edit.
But
footage.
if you're a one man show,
right,
you got to be doing all that.
So, yeah, GoPro is probably the best way to start, and even we use that still today. And I kind of was like I want to say a camera snob for a bit. I didn't want to use a GoPro because the footage didn't look great compared to some of the other stuff. So we messed with some other second angles. We'd run a smaller Sony 6500 with a second angle, and then we ran that RXO, and we were trying to get, and then they just don't work as well. They're not as light. They're not as efficient. The battery life isn't as good.
It's bulky. You got two
it's just-
bodies now.
Yeah, and
More
the
lenses.
GoPros are really good now.
Yeah.
They're better than they've ever been, and the footage looks pretty good. And it's all right, we're going with the GoPro. So I would recommend definitely a GoPro. Either way, having a second angle if you're trying to film yourself is really important, I think, especially if you're in a tree, or even if you're hunting, putting it on your gun or putting it on your hat or your chest or your shoulder. That's really important. You almost don't miss anything with that.
Yep.
And then really anything you can kind of get your hands on.
I think the Sony X70 that I mentioned that's what I filmed with Braden before I
that's a
met up
good
with
one.
you guys.
There's a bunch of them.
It's a pretty. I mean, you're probably at $900 to $1,200.
Is that used or new?
That's brand new.
Yeah, so you can get it used for. And I buy, not so much anymore, but I used to buy all my gear used.
eBay specials.
Everything for a long time. So because I wanted better gear and couldn't afford it new, so I bought it used. And obviously most of the stuff, I don't think I ever had a bad experience. So yeah, I just get into it. Get a GoPro if you can get another angle, that's good too. And then just kind of get into it and see if you like it. Realize that it's a lot more work. It's kind of a pain in the butt. See if you like editing footage. And I think that the two main things is kind of get comfortable talking to the camera. That's a big one. You know, there's a lot of people that get really stiff, or they don't do a good job of explaining what they're doing, what's going on. So it's important to, you know, show your personality, give people a rundown of what's going on. You know, hopefully you're excited about what you're doing. You should be, or else why are you doing it? So let that come across. So, you know, being on camera and talking on camera is important if you're filming yourself or even someone else. And then the next thing is just trying to tell a story and not leave parts out. That's a big thing. You want to try to, you know, we don't film everything that happens anymore. We try to film the key aspects that will tell the story. We don't roll like 6 hours of footage.
Yeah.
You know, we try to be efficient.
I know somebody that does.
So
that hurts the guy in post.
Oh, it's
He's like,
well, it hurts everything. It's like it hurts card space, battery life, hard drive space, like the whole thing. Transfer. It's just, it's tough. So, learning how to tell a story is a big deal. Just, you know, we always try to get like a variety of shots, landscape or location shots that are wide, that give, you know, the viewer an idea of what the setting is like, what feeling is going on that day. If it's like a, you know, a dark overcast day, or it's like a bright high pressure sunny day.
One thing is, like, you have to film every day you get in the tree.
Yeah.
You have to film from start to finish, because you don't know if it's
gonna
happen, and like you need the full story from start to finish, so you have to film.
It's like day 7 interview might not be as enthusiastic as
yeah, but
I filmed everything
over and over and over and over. But then once again, if you're in the tree for 11 hours in one day, you don't need to run 5 hours of footage if nothing happens, because probably not going to use much from that day if nothing happened. Maybe an interview with some cutaways, like a closing, you know, it's going to be a 30-second. So that 11 hours in the tree might be in a 30-second segment in the video. Right?
Things change though. It snowed.
Yeah,
you know, or it rained.
Yeah, like this year we had a lot of, for my hunt in particular, we were in the stand for many, many days, and we had some cool weather stuff that came in, some awesome sunrises. So we filmed all that. We didn't have much deer action. I think we saw like deer on 3 days of like 7. So, and they're obviously pretty quick. It's not like we had that many long encounters. So, just trying to tell the story and learn how to tell the story, and then learn how to talk on camera to the camera, I think, are two really big ones. If you can do that, you know, your stuff's going to be a lot easier to watch. It's going to be a lot more engaging to the viewer, and that's important. You want the viewer to enjoy and be engaged in your story, in your footage, and, you know, interested in it. So, and that's especially some of the things that we focus on for YouTube, is really trying to engage the viewer, because YouTube, if you don't have good watch times, people aren't, if they're clicking out of the video, your videos aren't going to do good. They're not going to get pushed in the algorithm. So we're always trying to engage the viewer, even more so than maybe we would on like a different style, like when we film sea bucks or when we film for Midwest whitetail or whatever we used to do. So that's a big one. And no one has any patience anymore these days. They want stuff to happen fast. They want it to move really fast. So being able to talk on camera, get those shots, you know, tell the story, is really important to make the story move, make the video move.
Have a flow.
Yep.
What's cool about you guys' channel too is there's a lot of like different stuff, you know, waterfowl and like.
Yep.
There's some tracking, there's some stand hunting, there's some turkeys. It's just like what do you want to see? Yeah, well, we have search through it.
You know, a lot of people. It's funny because I'm probably. There's a couple of us that are at the far end of, I guess, the spectrum of like our group. Like I am like super focused on like hunting mature deer, and like that's really kind of it for me, and turkeys. And then like you have people that go all down, and some guys just like to shoot deer and shoot some turkeys, shoot deer and turkeys.
There's 7,500 beards above me. He's like, yeah, turkeys are okay.
But that's. I feel like our group is a good representation of just like a normal, you know, the normal demographic of like hunters. You have the super serious guys all the way down to guys that just like to go out and shoot and have fun and go rabbit hunting or duck hunting or whatever, go on deer drives, which is great. You know, whatever you want to do is awesome, and you should do what you enjoy the most. And we have guys that enjoy all of it, so that's what we try to show.
What do you think? Would people watch ice fishing? What do you think?
Hell yeah.
I think they would, done right. And we have some fishing content, although our fishing content, I think most people that come to our channel want to see hunting content, so the fishing content doesn't catch on quite as well. But we have some.
Well, just like,
if you
like
guys,
turkey
hey,
hunting.
one thing I want to say, I can't believe that it didn't do better, but if you guys like fishing or smallmouth fishing, go watch the St. Lawrence River smallmouth fishing on our channel from last spring, if you can find it. But it's like one of the best fishing videos I've ever seen, and like it has like 700 views. But it's so good. It's like one of the best videos. Yeah, Nick and Cody and Jordan went to it's like such a cool video. It's like, I mean, I love to fish, but I love to hunt way more. So with 3 kids and a job, fishing falls off the radar for me.
Yeah, you can't.
But like,
can't do everything.
Yeah, that video is like, I want to go up there and catch smallmouth now. It's like such a good video. And if you can do that, like get into someone's like, really catch your interest and make them feel like I want to go do that. You've done a good job of like, telling the story and engaging the viewer.
But even with turkeys, like turkeys don't do as well as deer, as far as views. But it's because you could have the best hunt, the best footage, and it's just people aren't. There's something about whitetail deer that like is obsessive.
I think that there's statistically there's more whitetail hunters than any other type of hunter in the country. I think there's like 4 times as many whitetail hunters as turkey hunters, or there used to be. I don't know if that's the accurate stat anymore, but turkey content doesn't do as well, but it seems like there's like a cult group of guys, turkey hunters, that love it. And then, seems like there's turkey hunters and then turkey killers. Turkey hunters are the guys that like actually like to turkey hunt and like the call birds in, and there's guys that just like to go kill turkeys. And so the guys that just like to kill turkeys are usually just deer hunters that shoot turkeys in the spring, which is fine. And they don't like turkey content as much, and I understand. I used to be that guy for sure. I was just like, whatever, I'll kill some turkeys in the spring. Now I'm like, I love the turkey hunt. That's like
it's so fun.
One of my favorite things. So
we got a video out tonight, first one of the season.
Yeah, our first one
season
just came
3
out for this year. So we'll have turkey content rolling out from now through mid-May probably. So we banked a bunch of hunts from last year. Yeah. So we got, I think, 9 or 10 hunts coming out before we head to.
We have that many?
Mississippi in March. What's that?
We have that many?
Yeah, we got a lot.
Damn.
We got a lot. A ton of content. So
that's the way to do it.
Well, it seems like people, we have like some awesome hunts in New England in May, but they're happening on May 10th, May 15th, May 20th, and like we put them out. By the time we get them out, it's like late May, and nobody's like thinking about turkeys anymore, and no one watches them. So we're like, we'll just bank this and put it out when people actually want to watch it. So we learned that pretty quick, that's kind of a pretty good strategy. So that's what we've been doing, and it seems to work pretty well. It seems like a March or February, March turkey hunt does way better than a May turkey hunt. So people just, that's the thing. We're trying to focus and show people like what they want to see during whatever time of year it is. And that's the beauty of what we do is in a semi-live format is we can turn stuff around in 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, and get it out there, and it's relevant. People want to watch it, and it's maybe it helps people that are kind of like in that stage of the season, and we try to hopefully people can learn some things from what we're doing. That's another reason that we do it, is to hopefully help and teach people, or at least give them something they can relate to. So
I got one hunt with last year. It was Scotty Lego. I filmed him missing a bird, so I got to ask him if he even wants me to put it out. But it was good. It was really good footage of him missing.
I bet he won't mind.
I don't think he'll care. He don't really care about much. It was one of those things where like he sat up on a log just preening.
Oh, really?
Just for 20 minutes. He's just out of range and finally hops down, closes the distance. We've been messing with this bird all morning. And he shoots and you could just see brush just drop in front of him. He's like, I rushed it. Bird flies off. 35-ish, maybe.
Not too far.
Not too far, but he could have let him come a little more. But he was kind of skirting where he was getting like where his gun was going to be kind of pointed towards me, so he just shot. And,
Misses happen.
The video we put up
Yeah.
tonight, that was a very exciting hunt.
Yeah, I missed one on that video.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
I see. This was
Yeah.
a year ago, though. That's why I enjoy watching it. 'Cause I totally
that's
forgot what I
yeah.
filmed.
Chris and I were just talking. All of our stuff, except for really the turkey content, is like comes out right away. So it comes out, and we're like, yeah, we just lived that like a few days ago. So we watch it, we enjoy it, but it's like, it's not like if you have an experience and you film it and then you watch it like a year later, it's so much more like rich and like you're so much more like in tune with it when you watch it because
Definitely.
you like don't remember and you're like reliving it again and you get the same
Yeah.
feeling. When you do it like a day, 2 days, 3 days later, it's kind of like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed that video too, and so did Chris because that happened, 10 months ago, 11 or 9, 10 months ago, I guess. So it was cool to see again. So, and I did miss a turkey on that one, so go check it out. But I redeemed myself shortly thereafter.
What happened there?
A red dot.
Oh, that's right. The
Remember?
thing was crooked. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a red dot mounted on my vent rib, and it was like jumping around on that thing, and I didn't realize it. Oh yeah, it was bad. I missed the bird, and I was like, "What happened?" I was like, "There's no." I don't miss many turkeys, and I shoot a lot of them. So when I miss, I'm like, "What was that? Like, what? How did I miss that turkey?" And I'm like looking at the gun, and like the red dot's like all cocked to the side, and it's just like floating around the rib. I'm like, "Oh, that'll do it."
You could just bumped it somewhere.
Yeah, I don't really know what. It's weird because I had another similar. That was a 410, a Mossberg SA 410, and I have a Mossberg SA 20 with the same red dot on the rib, mounted the same way, and I've had that thing for years and never had any issues whatsoever. And something about the mounting system or whatever that I had on that 410, it just was not secure and it was floating around. So, and actually I had a similar issue last year with it too, or the year before. So, and it's the red dot, it's the mounting system. It's just, must be the rib size there. Or something is just not quite right. So I ripped it off literally during that day. And
I forgot we went and
yeah,
we
went
went
to
to
a
that
gun
shop,
shop
and,
at 9:30 in the morning, put a fiber optic sight on the front, and then went and killed a couple birds.
That guy
a
was
couple hours
mad.
later.
What was up with that
He
guy?
was just an old Maine boy that wasn't super friendly. Hey, he sold us a site and got it done. So good. Thanks to him.
Is that all in the video?
Oh yeah. It's a fun video.
I'm only 5 minutes in. I haven't
Yeah.
watched the whole
Yeah,
thing
so
yet,
you
so
don't
I
even-
forgot. I was
you
just like,
don't
oh,
even
that's right.
remember.
We went and got it fixed, and then we went hunting because we weren't very close to home.
No, we're like,
And we were just driving
hours.
for forever
Yeah.
because we gave up on that spot. We're like,
Yeah.
yeah, screw this place.
yeah,
We
I
started
love
driving
the
south.
turkey on Maine because I feel like I never know where I'm gonna end up. And I always end up seeing like the whole damn state before I find a turkey. But I always seem to kill
Like
like
checking in the
always
North Maine
seem to-
woods.
Yeah, I always seem to tag out. So it's a fun state to turkey on.
I got spots for this year, actually.
you?
Yeah, because I just went to Long Lake up in northern Maine.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's 7 hours away.
There's turkeys up there? It's 7 hours away?
On the way up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job. Way
Yep.
to keep your eyes open.
Yep. I'm trying to think where, but I'll figure that out.
Just drive till you remember it.
Yeah.
That farm right there.
Yeah.
Pull over. Yeah, it's fun, man. I love turkey hunting.
Yeah, it's like
I got her into it 2 years ago. She's killed 3.
awesome. That's good. Yeah, it's
3 in 2 years. I might have had something to do with them, but
Yeah, turkey hunting's great for me because I feel like I get real serious about deer hunting.
It's just less stressful. It's just
Yeah,
it's nice.
turkey-
It's like a
yeah.
break.
run and gun and
Yeah,
I
it's
just
just
seem to always have a good time, and like you can do it with a bunch of people and like different people. Like you can go and like hunt for one day with somebody and still like, have a lot of action, and then hunt with someone else the next day. And so like I enjoy it because it's more like of a social event for me with like whoever we hunt with. It's more of an adventure because like I mean when we turkey hunt, we don't know. We hunt a lot of public land and public access land, which I'm sure most people in the Northeast do, but so we never know where we're going to end up. We don't really have an agenda. We'll just like, all right, where are we going tomorrow? We'll try this spot. We saw birds there, and it's like if they're not working, we just like hit the road or
Yeah.
hike up a mountain or whatever. We don't know. It's just we don't know if we're going to end up like in suburbia, shooting a bird feeder bird behind someone's house or up on the top of a mountain in the wilderness calling it a bird. Like you just don't know where it's going to take you. So it's an adventure.
Kentucky was real fun.
Yeah,
That
Kentucky
was super
cool.
fun. It's so steep.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
for like
area of the
300 yards,
country's
you'll just go
brutal.
straight up, and these turkeys are just hanging out on these tops,
Yeah,
just
it's a
on the
cool-
tops.
A cool landscape to hunt up down there. a lot of steep, rugged country. Not like super high, but like up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah. Is it kind of similar to Tennessee?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like that same type of, so it's like.
I want to go to Tennessee turkey hunting bad. It looks like there's
I went
something
last
about
year.
Yeah, Chris killed a bird in Tennessee last
Did
year.
you?
It's not easy. I think
No.
I got lucky, to be honest. The thing flew down on us.
I
Yeah,
watch
but
like
you were where
I
you're
watch like
supposed to be.
Yeah.
like Catman roosting birds from a boat. I'm like, that right there.
That's
Yeah,
what we did.
That's what Chris did.
That's
That
what we
would
did.
just
It
look
was
so
super
much
fun.
fun.
It was super fun. We camped on a little island, Cody
Yeah.
and I.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And you could hear him gobbling, like just sitting out in the middle of the lake, just on the other side.
Yeah, that's the other cool thing about turkey hunting. If you do some traveling, you get to see like a bunch of cool areas of the country, which is neat. That like, and there's like kind of turkeys everywhere, so you can kind of like, you can have the hunt you want to hunt. Like if you want to shoot a turkey on like the national forest in the mountains, you can do that. If you want to shoot a turkey off a boat, you can do that. If you want to shoot one in farmland, you can do. It just there's turkeys everywhere, so it's cool to be able to like go almost to anywhere in the country and have turkeys if you can find some public land or even get some permission. And the other thing is it's a lot easier to get turkey permission than really anything else. We've got permission to hunt turkeys in some places where I doubt would have got permission to hunt deer. So
Yeah. So what's on the agenda this year for you boys? Starting off
Actually-
with turkeys. Or
Oh, yeah,
ice,
John and-
ice fishing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get sidetracked.
Chris,
Brett's like, you
I don't
need to
do the-
scout deer, man.
No, I don't. I said
You need
You
to
do what you
scout
wanna
deer,
do.
man.
I just have
And
a
he's
one-track
right,
mind.
but-
I just have a one-track mind. No, Chris is gonna ice fish. I don't really. I like to ice fish, but not like I'm gonna go scout deer if I have the choice. So yeah, we're gonna start down south. I was actually John Lewis and I were working on kind of the schedule for turkey season this week. So we're gonna start down south. I think we decided in Mississippi, and that's like mid-March. Try to shoot some hogs down there too, which will be cool. And then I think John may stay down in Hunt, Alabama with the Hunting Public with Zach Fehrenbaugh. And then I just don't have as much time off as John does, so I'll have to get home. But and then I think we might do Virginia, North Carolina. They're open around the same time. That's like mid-May. And then we'll probably roll right into the New England stuff. So Mass opens pretty early this year, I think like the 25th. I think we might hunt Connecticut this year as well. We haven't hunted Connecticut or Rhode Island in the past. We're going to try to do those if we have time. So that's kind of like the last week in April. And then we'll roll right into like, the northern New England states like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and New York. And I don't know that we have really any other crazy plans. I don't know. I'm sure somebody will go somewhere at some point. But like Chris, you went to Tennessee last year. So who knows where we might end up. But
Yeah, that was.
we really like
come
to
out of nowhere.
Yeah, we really like to
I was like,
focus
I think
in the
I'm gonna go to
Northeast.
Tennessee
though.
tomorrow.
Oh, so another thing we're going to try to do, I think. And I don't know if I'm sure if someone's done it, but I don't know if they've actually like called it a slam. But we're gonna hopefully coin the term the Northeast Slam, and we're gonna try to kill a bird in all the New England states, New York, and PA. We're thinking about Jersey, but I just do not like the politics, license, steal of turkey
I have
hunting
pins
and-
there.
Oh, I do too. There's a ton of turkeys in
I
Jersey.
met a
but,
guy
like,
in Tennessee.
yeah, but
from New Jersey.
The thing with Jersey is you have like weekend tags and like weekday tags and then like second week tags. It's like
Oh,
and you
that's
have to
filthy.
you have to like apply for them all and like I'm sure you could do it. It's kind of a pain in the butt where all the other states are just
Leave
over
that
the counter.
to stay till last.
Yeah, so we're gonna exclude New Jersey, and like technically New Jersey is a mid-Atlantic state, so yeah. So I think it's how many states is that? So Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont,
This is a little
New
off
York,
topic.
PA. So that's 8 states.
When I was a kid, we took the Amtrak. I think we went to Virginia. And I
Took
remember
Amtrak in Virginia.
Yeah, and I
To
remember
hunt?
going through New Jersey and no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I was with my
Where's
family.
this going?
And I remember driving through New Jersey on this train and I was like, dude, this place looks like it's like burnt down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like
Oh, in New Jersey. Yeah, Jersey.
You probably went through Newark.
Yeah.
it looked like it blew up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Newark.
Smells like it blew up.
Yeah, but
Smells like blew up, then something shit on it and blew up
Yeah.
again.
there's like a million deer and turkeys in Jersey though, but like
Oh, yeah.
it's just, you know.
Well, they got They got hit with EHD bad.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
This
That's
year?
crazy.
Yeah, this past season, Jason DePlazo, he films for Big Woods Bucks, films Hal. He did his moose video and stuff. He lives in Jersey, and I think he's in like the southern part, and he's like, yeah, it's
Really?
there's
Is he
just
down near, like, Delaware area?
giant like
Really?
giant 12 pointers and stuff just
Sucks.
dead.
I heard you got to like cut their heads off and leave them right where you killed the thing.
Why?
Like Braden was telling me about like
Yeah,
coming
alright.
up on
Anyway.
like parking lots, like multiple
Stop
deer
it.
heads like in the back of parking lots
Where?
in New Jersey, where he hunts in New Jersey, just public
He hunts in
land.
Jersey?
That gets the
He takes a trip down there once a year.
that gets the insect or whatever like
No,
isolates it.
no. Like people, you got to like cut the head off and leave it there.
Oh, I think that's a different deal. I think they want to test the heads. That's
Maybe.
probably why you have to leave them. I don't know. That's just
Me
speculation.
neither.
Luckily, I don't think we have that around here, which is awesome.
No,
But I think like most of the rest of the country has had positive.
but it's like inching
Cases.
closer.
Yeah.
And you know what? That would devastate our like
So
small deer.
the thing
herd.
that CWD is not good, but I don't think it really hurts I don't think it's been around long enough in many populations to like see what it actually happens in like 10, 15, 20 years. But I know that it, like a lot of the places, it's not really hurting the population. It's just not healthy for the long-term sustainability of like the herd. So I think there's a lot. I'm not saying it's good by any means. I'm just saying I think we don't know a lot about what happens. Like I know that if a deer contracts it, it will eventually die, but sometimes
Right.
I think it takes years for them to die, and it's a really bad deal if it gets in the herd because it's like you're not getting it out. That prion stays in like the ground and the plants and whatever for like ever. Like it's almost impossible to kill. I think you have to like burn it at like high temperatures or something crazy to get rid of it. So
I heard
it's definitely a
someone
bad
say
deal.
they put it on in testing it. They put it under like 5,000 degrees and it didn't die.
Yeah, I've heard
That's insane.
I've heard
that
similar
number
things.
might be wrong, but I
Yeah.
think it was thousands of degrees and it
Yeah.
didn't die. That's scary.
I know they had it in. I think I went to school in New York, to college in New York, but I know that there was a captive deer facility that had CWD in New York, and that's like the only positive test, and it was only in that facility. And I think they had to like basically to like blow up the whole not blow it up, but like just
New
destroy
Jersey.
just scorch
They had to
everything.
New
Yeah.
Jersey
Yeah,
it.
they had to Newark the whole facility, but I think they contained it pretty well because I don't think it's been found in like wild deer.
I got people from Mass hating on the podcast. I might as well get people from Jersey
On
too,
Mass? Why is that?
because I talk about how good it is and like there's. a
Well,
bunch
I
of
live in
big deer there.
Massachusetts and I want to leave. There is big deer.
Like yeah, there's been some keyboard warriors on YouTube.
There's plenty of them.
I'm sure you guys know about that.
Sure. Yeah, people like to make comments.
I
and
was
make
told
no
not
sense.
to
But,
say
like-
anything back to those people.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree
we
with
try
that
not
completely.
to engage them if we can. I mean, if they have a
Dude, the
legitimate
best part-
thing, we'll try to like.
The best part
respectfully
is if
respond
someone
to them,
just some bullshit comment. What I like to like say there's a bullshit comment and there's a positive comment above and below it. Respond to those and then
Yeah.
not to the hater because that just like they want you to respond.
Well, you also got to
And
think.
when they see that
Yeah.
I know you saw my comment and you don't respond.
you
That's
also
the best revenge there is.
have to think about the type of person that sits on YouTube and leaves negative comments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how about the kid last year telling me my owl call sucks?
Yeah.
And then I actually messaged him on Facebook. So I was pretty salty about it. And he's like, dude, could you put me on Birds in Tennessee? Yeah. Well, I thought my owl call sucked. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
I'll bring
I
you to
think a lot of
Jersey.
people
He's
are
actually-
fun, but they're just messing around. But
But just the ones
Yeah,
the ones that are off the wall, like what? Just leave them alone.
Whatever. They just let them
Just
say
a
what they
hater.
want to say. That's the thing is like, when you're putting stuff out there for everybody to see, not everybody's gonna like it. Not everybody's gonna like agree with what you're doing, your style, and like I understand that, and we get that a lot with different because we do we do everything. So like, there's always something that on our channel that
I'm a
someone
better
doesn't
waterfowl
like.
hunter than you.
Whatever. They're like you don't hunt right. You don't hunt. You shoot the wrong animals. It's like All right, whatever. But like my thing has always been, as I get older, it's like, hey, you should do what makes you happy and hunt the way you want to hunt. And if you're enjoying what you're doing and you're having a fulfilling experience, then that's all that matters. As long as you're doing it legally, like just do what you want to do. And
Did
then
you say
don't worry
illegally?
about it. Did
You
I?
said I thought you just said illegally.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you're doing it illegally
Yeah.
and not getting caught, then whatever.
Okay. I think I said legally, but
No, you
if I
didn't.
didn't, I
You
said
did.
legally is what I meant. But yeah, I think that's super important. We need to like just get off each other's cases with this stuff. It's like my way is better than yours, or don't shoot that, or don't hunt with this weapon, or don't hunt. It's like,
better
man.
buck next year.
You haven't really figured it out yet, Brett.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've figured the one thing I have figured is out what I like to do and the way I like to hunt. You know, that's what I've figured out.
He hates killing turkeys.
Yeah. Either that or I hate turkey. No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I love turkeys. So
But-
I think that's important to just get what you want of the outdoors. And if you aren't happy with your experience, try something different. You know, like it's like don't feel pressure to do any one particular thing or hunt any one particular way or shoot any one type of animal or whatever. Do what you want to do. Like that's the big thing. I think there's like a lot of pressure from, especially on social media, to like do things a certain way. And it's like,
Yeah, that's what's
that's
tough.
silly. Just do what you want. I just think it's crazy. And when people are like berating others for doing it differently than them, that's not hunting, or that's not, it's like, that's not hunting to you, but that's fine. Like keep your opinion to yourself. If they're doing it legally and they're enjoying their time, what does it matter? You know?
Yeah, like deer drives. Deer drives get a lot
It's
of hate.
a super polarizing subject. And I personally, it's not my favorite way to hunt. I've participated in them in the past,
Yeah, I've
but
been
like
on
I
them.
don't really enjoy them that much. I'll try it every once, like every 5 years. I'll like, you know, like we do the ones in New York that, you know, they do pretty well and people seem to like them that like deer drives. And I've done that. And like, I'll do it every couple, like 5 years. And I'm just after, I'm like, I just don't like deer drives. It's not for me. So I just don't participate as much. But, you know, I think for
about-
some people, it's a awesome thing and they enjoy it. And it's like, great. And I have no problem with it. Like, go for it. Like, do what you want to do.
How about the corn pile buck from Ohio?
Well, which one?
You guys seriously shooting deer over corn
Well,
piles?
and that's another thing is like we'll go to Ohio late season and hunt over bait. And is that my favorite way to hunt? No, but we go out in 2 days,
I think
have a
it's
great
great.
time. It's super fun. We get to pull the trigger a bunch and get a bunch of meat from the Midwest, which is pretty. I mean, they're eating beans and corn and like good stuff and have a good time. And that's that. Is that the most, you know? Is that a buck that I feel like super accomplished? No, it's not. But it's a fun time. And
The
like, I
one
enjoy
time,
it. Yeah.
the one time Brett films me shoot a deer, he double punches the record
Yeah,
button.
that happened last year. Yeah, we've had some bad luck in Ohio over with guns and whatever. Not with guns, but gun hunting in Ohio. I'll say we've had some troubles. But yeah, I mean that's like you know that's the one time a year I'll do that. But I enjoy it. Like I have good buddies out there. I've been hunting in Ohio for like I don't even know over 10 years now, and I have like close friends now. So I go hunt their place, and it's just the way that it is out there. And like you can hunt. You know, do whatever you want, but late season in Ohio when everybody owns 40, 80, 100 acres, 20 acres, and there's a corn pile on every piece of property, like if you're not baiting, you're just not going to see deer. And like for years and years and years, I used to go out there after the rut and be like, would plant food plots. I'm like, I'm going to hunt the food plots. I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm not doing it. It's like you go out and then you just don't see any deer.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of deer around, but they're not on you if you're not feeding them. So, you know, it's just the way that it is. So if you're going to do that, you need to be okay with it. And hey, if you don't want to do that and it's absolutely not for you, just don't do it and don't go out there or, you know, try to hunt public land. But I know even on public land, a lot of guys are doing it illegally. And then, you know, every private landowner around the public piece has a corn pile on the right over the line, and all those deer are going from public onto a corn pile. So more or less, like almost every deer in Ohio is like affected by baiting. So, and it is what it is. I mean, I think it would probably be, I mean, this is just my opinion, but if they made baiting illegal in Ohio, I personally would like that. That would be good. I think it would be awesome. Like the people that put the time in and scout and, you know, maybe plant food plots or just, you know, scout deer in natural movement would do a lot better. But it's legal and people enjoy it. And, you know, I do it too sometimes when I go out there, so especially late season. So
It's probably
It is
nice
what it
too,
is.
like after busting your ass, like
Well,
in New Hampshire,
exactly
to go
it.
out there and
That's
like
exactly it.
just.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna see
Yeah.
deer today, whether it's
Yeah.
going to be a buck I want to
Right.
shoot or not. I know I'm going to be, entertained
Exactly. Well, it's exactly
rather
it.
than
It's
sitting
like,
all day in the
Yeah.
mountains of New Hampshire. Like,
yeah, going out of your mind.
So
yeah,
fun.
It's just a totally different, like,
So
it's a nice
fun.
break to go out and do that. And it's like, if you
oh, I have no service. Sick.
yeah.
We have a blast though, just messing
Yeah,
around
yeah.
in the tree all day.
Yeah,
Doing
we have
stupid stuff.
fun. It's good when you have two
I wanna-
people. It's a lot easier.
I got some buddies that are into it. We're going to do it this year. Is get a couple of us filming saddles and stuff. And I've never been in the tree with someone else, but
Oh, really?
it seems like it'd be
It's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
pass
definitely
the day better.
Oh, way faster.
For
Yeah, I've
sure.
sat by myself all day, and with someone else, it goes by way faster with another person. And like, I sat this year for 7 straight days, and
You're like
could
the
I have done that by myself?
sitting
Yes,
ninja. I guess you
Yeah.
are too if you're there.
yeah, but
I actually wasn't there this year for all of the
we were there
days.
for 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah, the start and the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could definitely do that.
sit this year.
You did one, yeah, nice. I remember when I used to like the first all day
Almost
sit
jumped out of the tree.
I did was like out of state in the Midwest, and like it's a little easier there because you see deer
Yeah, you see
most
deer.
of the day. And then I remember I did one in New Hampshire, and I was like so proud of myself. Like I sat all day today. And now it's like during November, it's like just normal. I'm like whatever.
I really thought this year it was
Confidence.
gonna like happen quicker. I thought it was gonna be like day 3 or 4, but
No, it
took
it definitely
took
just
7 or 8,
dragged it on.
whatever it was.
Yeah, that was
That was a terrible day from the start. Do you remember?
which one?
Well, we're driving up the mountain on the wheeler, and we're halfway up the mountain, and I go, Brett, my clothes fell off my pack, like the gear ties came undone. You went back down.
Yeah, we have permission on one of the spots that we hunt to go. It's on private land. We have permission. It's a huge landowner though, but we have permission to use a 4-wheeler on that land, so we can get a good way up the mountain on that, and then it turns to public, and then we can go, kind of cut our walk in half, which is really nice. So we're
Yeah.
going up, and Chris is dropping everything off the back of the 4-wheeler. So we made like 2 or 3 trips up and down.
It's
in
not
the
common,
dark,
though.
and-
I'm usually pretty organized.
Yeah, he's not bad, but it was
Not
all right.
bad.
I didn't even get that mad either, did I?
No, we had time. Well, he goes down, and there was 2 bundles of clothing. He goes down to the bottom
Well,
of the
hold on,
mountain and
hold
gets
on. Let
one.
me tell this. He goes, oh, hold on. He's like tapping me. He's on the back. He's like, my clothes fell off. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, all right, one. He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, just stay here, because it's kind of dicey with 2 guys in the 4-wheeler. You can't go as fast. So I'm like, just stay here. I'll get him, whatever. And I'm like, this son of a-
Brett will kill you on that 4-wheeler, dude.
So I zip down the mountain, and like finally, like almost at the bottom, I find like your bundle of clothes. So I thought, I'm like, all right, there it is. Grab it, go back up, and I hand it to him. He's like, what about the other one? I'm like, what do you mean? The second bundle. I'm like, you didn't tell me about a second one. You said a bundle of clothes, and I found a bundle. I grabbed it, and here you go. He's like, well, there was 2. I'm like, great. So I go back down and find it. The other one was even further down the mountain.
What was the other bundle? Your clothes?
No, I don't know. You tell him it was your stuff.
I had my jacket and my bibs,
Oh yeah.
and they were both wrapped up in gear ties because I'm just sitting on the wheeler in my base layers. It's
Yeah.
pretty cold, but then once you get up there and you
start
got a
hiking.
400-yard walk in, you kind of
Yeah.
even out your temp.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah,
Don't
we
break a
try to
sweat.
go in.
Yeah, you
Unless
don't
we're
wanna be doing
walking
that.
like 100 yards, which is not often. We try to go. I always go in on my base layers, like even if it's like 10 degrees out, which just seems crazy because you're like freezing. But the second you start hiking with all that stuff, and it seems like, for me at least, whenever I'm going in the dark in the morning during the rut, I have like this anxiety level because I'm like have so much anticipation, and I know it's like it's cold. I'm like trying to sneak in, and like it could. I feel like I'm just gonna sweat no matter what. Just from that alone, that anticipation, anxiety. Never mind like all the crap on my back, and then trying to hike, however far we end up hiking, which could be depends where we're
stressful.
hunting.
It's
Yeah,
stressful.
it's like kind of like stress and anxiety makes me sweat. So we always go in like super super light. And I've never said to myself, man, I shouldn't have dressed so light. But I've often said to myself, I shouldn't have started with so many clothes on.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
doesn't
you
matter.
learn that
like,
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And new camera guys, I'll say to them, they're like, get all bundled up and we're going to hike up the mountain. I'm like, are you going to wear that up there? Like, yeah. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, I wouldn't. They're like, oh, I'll be fine. I'm
No,
like,
they
okay.
don't get it. You just mop them with the floor. They're so sweaty, dude.
It's absolutely saturated by,
And then
you know,
3 hours in, they're
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Teeth chattering.
So yeah, that's the clothing thing's an important one, especially if you're hunting. If you're sitting all day, obviously, if you're tracking, that's not a big. I feel like tracking is almost the same.
Just go in
like
your base layers.
Yeah, I've never said I didn't wear enough clothes when I've been tracking. I'm always like, man, the only time that happens is if you stop or you shoot something.
Yeah.
You know,
I
you're
made that
just not
mistake in
moving.
the beginning of tracking, though. I definitely overdressed.
Oh yeah.
And
Like,
I learned pretty quick that
yeah, you
that
really
was
don't need
before. And
much.
then I discovered, like, Hal, and, you know, he had a bunch of information out about, like, you know, because I wore freaking, like an idiot, I wore cotton,
Oh god.
you know.
I tried never to wear cotton in the woods no
Yeah.
matter what I'm doing, but yeah. Yeah, it's just
Quickly
stuff you
switch
learn
to
as
wool,
Yeah,
and-
stuff you learn as you go. We don't wear wool outer. We don't wear wool outer stuff. We wear wool base layers. on
For sitting, yeah,
everything,
wool's not real
everything.
good for sitting.
No, it's not bad. We wear it for base. I mean, what's your?
For base layer, yeah.
Yeah,
Merino wool.
Yeah, the heavyweight Sitka Merino
yeah.
base layer.
Or a synthetic wool. One or the other. Those two both do very well. But yeah, wool's good stuff.
I'd like
for
to
sure.
figure out my feet situation eventually.
Yeah,
my
the feet
feet get
thing is
so
tough for a lot of
cold,
people
man.
sitting. I'm lucky because my
Arctic
feet-
Shields and a body warmer.
Yeah, Arctic Shields are good.
So then I
know.
got to get in another body thing though.
Slip in a one of those bigger hot hands.
There's no room in the boot though.
No,
No, these
the
go over
Arctic
your
Shields,
boots.
they're like
They're like a
booties that go
booty.
over.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like Gore-Tex insulated, whatever.
Yeah.
And you slip a hot hands. I mean, you could do hand warmers, whatever, but slip a hand warmer into the top,
Yep.
and it just like it's like an oven, just cooks your feet all day.
And I think another
I need
thing
that.
that's super overlooked is what you're standing on. If your feet, my feet don't get cold. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky that they don't. But if you're standing on a metal stand,
Yeah.
that just draws the heat out of you like crazy. We tape all our stands for the most part, and that helps big time to have that layer of hockey tape on your stand. It actually keeps your feet warmer. The other thing you can do is you can put like a thermarest is not an inflatable thermarest, but like a pad on the stand.
Yep.
That's going to keep your feet warmer. Or even like a rug, like a little roll up rug you can put down. That's going to make a huge difference. I've noticed it for sure because we tape all our stands. I don't, like I said, my feet really don't get cold, but if they did, I would definitely be putting something else down on top of it. That's something you could do. But then once again, that's another thing you got to carry in with you. It's probably not something you want to leave on the stand, right? Like all year.
Yeah. Mice will chew it up.
So, but that's an important one. The other thing I think is people think that they're going to put on like 3 layers of socks in their boots, and there's like zero airspace. Like you need those air pockets and layers. You don't want your boots to be tight.
That's what
And
it
you-
is, I
yeah,
think.
and you don't want to. You can put 2 layers of socks if your boots are big enough to accommodate that. But if you're putting 2 or 3 layers of socks on, and then it's like your toes are tight in your boot, and there's no room for air, they're gonna get cold. So you need those layers like air pockets. That's what heats up and keeps your feet warm. So that's important too. But
Yeah, so what size shoe are you, Jason?
I'm a 10.
Yeah, so I'd buy like a 15, you'll be good.
what size shoe are you, Chris?
15.
8.5. And I bought 8.5s.
But I think those Arctic Shields are probably a good. Like I said, my feet don't get warm, but they seem like a good concept that would work. pretty
Yeah,
well.
I mean, I did quite a bit of, 4 or 5 hour sits, but the one all day sit I did, I had just those on with no hand warmer in them. And it was probably got a high of like 28 that day.
Yeah.
And I was good all day
That's-
with just
yeah.
hiking boots and
Yep.
a pair of darn tough wool socks on.
Ross wears.
I wish darn
Those,
tough would
like-
mess with the hunting community.
I got them on right now.
They don't. I don't think they
no?
like us.
I have no
They made
idea.
a hunting sock.
It's just
It's a
as far
Vermont
as like
brand, right?
yeah.
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 But as
They
far
look
as, like,
granola type Vermont,
spot-
Burlington
yeah.
type Vermont.
As far as like sponsoring like hunters or like because I know Big Woods reached out to them and they said something about they didn't want to get any bigger. But this is just me being judgmental. But I feel like you look at their Instagram, they don't seem like they would want to associate themselves with
No, there's
guns and dead
Been more
animals.
the Patagonia
Just my
hiker
opinion.
type.
Yeah, they make a darn tough sock though.
do,
I'll
they're
tell you
great
what.
socks.
By
Yeah.
God,
Very
that
good.
thing lasts and lasts.
I bought a pair for work, 2 pairs for work, and I've been wearing them for like 3 years. And I'm just hoping that they just break open so I can send them back and get a new pair. And they just won't, dude. You're gonna have to bring a belt sander to the heel of those things.
You're like, I want to try this warranty.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Doing
They're-
extra laps.
Really?
Really?
I had
You
LL
would.
Yeah, that's me. I had LL Bean kids, so darn tough, and they ripped on the heel.
Did you send them back?
Were they LL Bean socks though, or were they darn tough?
Well, they were through LL Bean, but
You bought them at LL Bean, but they were darn tough.
yeah, it says like darn tough, but it said LL Bean.
Maybe they make them a little bit different then. I've never seen that.
You buy
Frickin' beans.
Mm,
Beans cheaping out.
yeah.
You ski packet and your bean boots. She's from Maine, so a little salty over there.
They're getting expensive.
LL Bean or the boots.
LL Bean.
Yeah.
Well, they're trendy now. Those
Yeah,
bean
they
boots
sure
that
are.
the frickin'
yeah.
hipsters are wearing them.
Are they?
Yeah, frat boy.
Yeah.
Get yourself
Really?
a pair of them things, dude.
That's probably why they did the collab.
I got a pair. Don't you have a pair?
LL Bean boots? No.
Yeah, no.
No. I just
Get
have
trendy.
With the
All
gum
I'm
the
wearing
gum
is
sole.
crispy boots these days. I hate rubber boots now. I used to wear
Rubber
them, I don't
boots are
wear
no
them
good
anymore.
for sitting.
I don't like them for anything. I think they're worse for walking. I know a lot of people love them for that, but I don't see it. But that's just me. I think
Yeah.
a pair of good hiking boots are waterproof, actually waterproof, because so many boots that are like hiking boots or hunting boots like are actually not waterproof. But a lot of us wear crispy boots now, and they're expensive, but they're waterproof. Like they're 100% waterproof.
Yeah.
Like your feet.
Those are
you can walk
probably
in
the
a
only
pond.
like not 100% rubber boots that are actually.
Yeah.
The other ones are just water repellent, and eventually
Yeah,
they're
well-
going to leak through.
Well, that's the thing. Like they may be waterproof for a week, and then like something happens, the seams or whatever happens, and they're not waterproof anymore.
yeah.
But yeah, I really like the crispy boots, and they have a pretty good selection of boots for like I have really heavier ones for like cold, and then I have ones that I actually hunt with like whenever I'm moving, whether it's turkeys, deer, like anything. I wear this other pair, and they're like my favorite boots I've ever owned, and they're waterproof. I mean, I've walked through water and like when I didn't mean to and didn't get wet, so that's what I prefer. But yeah, I think footwear is pretty important. I'd say for most people, your feet are
Yeah.
cold or wet, you're gonna have a pretty bad day, or it's gonna be cut short, and you're not gonna be out there when you need to be.
It's drove me out of the stand before. Cold feet. You just can't do it anymore. You're just done.
Yeah. The other thing that I don't
When
think
when you get to the point where like you're curling your toes, but you can't really feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
you're
not
out.
good.
You're going back to the truck. It's over.
Well, and the other thing with like sitting long hours is you have to have like warm gear, because you can sit for a period of time and like kind of anything for the most part, but like you're gonna get negative and cold and miserable real quick, and then you're just you're gonna get out of the stand.
You'll talk
Like,
yourself out.
Yeah,
of it.
because you're just in a bad mood. You're cold. You're tired. That's the other thing. If you're cold, your body's working extremely hard to try to produce heat and keep you warm. And if you're doing that, you're going to get tired. You're going to get hungry. You're going to get basically a poor attitude, and you're a negative attitude more than anything, and you're going to get out of the stand. That's the one thing I've learned with like sitting all day, day after day after day, is you have to take certain measures to make sure you are warm, you eat, and you get good sleep. Because if you don't do those three things, you can't do it for 7 straight days in 20 degrees. Like, and sit for, you can't do it. You may, it sounds crazy, but like you haven't done anything all day. You're sitting there, not moving. You're sedentary for
It's
11 hours.
it's
but
exhausting,
it's freaking
though.
exhausting mentally and physically. Your body is trying to stay, warm for 11 straight hours. Whereas if you're tracking or you're still hunting, you're moving and you're staying warm. If you're not moving and producing that heat, it's so hard. So it's critical to have good warm gear. I think sleep is so underrated when it comes to that. Like getting good sleep and then, eating food. Obviously you burn a ton of calories. So that week that, we try to sit all day, every day, we have like kind of like down to like, this is what we do. This is the gear we use. I am like super big on like, I try to sleep as close as I can to the stand. And what that means is like, you know, if I was hunting maybe like within 5 minutes of my house, I'd probably sleep in my house. But if I'm have to drive to hunt, which I do, I stay there. Like I bring a camper up or a camp and I get as close as I can to that access or that stand. And I stay there because the time in and out, it takes a while to get there. So like you could, I mean, if I was driving home, it may take me like 2 to 3 hours to get from my stand to my bed. So that's 6 hours a day of travel, and that's you're losing sleep. Yep.
Yeah.
So you may go from getting 8, 9 hours of sleep to like 5 hours, and after that adds up at the end of 5, 6, 7, 8 days, and now you're just done. Like mentally, you're defeated because you just are tired, cold, and then not only that, if you do get that opportunity, you're just not sharp, and there's a better chance you're not going to capitalize on it because you're just not prepared mentally. So that's an important thing I think is overlooked. And that doesn't really come into play unless you're doing the long hours day after day after day, right? Like you can get away with it for a few days at a time, but like when you're grinding out for a week straight in cold temps, you have to start to pay attention to those things or else you're just not going to be able to perform and be there mentally at the end of it. So that's one of the things I've learned that is I didn't really ever consider when I was younger or when I didn't hunt, day after day after day all day long. So it's an interesting one, something you wouldn't think of most of the time, but in those extreme, scenarios, it definitely comes into play.
Yeah, sleep's important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I slept in the stand this year, did I? Well, they got like videos of me from years prior, like just passed out, like.
Well, you're also in like way better shape than you have been in the past. And,
oh yeah, I was a slob.
I thought you meant like overnight. Like I'm just gonna stay here, dude.
No, we haven't done that. That's pretty rugged.
Bring me a Cliff Bar.
I don't think we could pull that off.
Exactly, that's my snack.
Yeah,
that's my snack. Cliff
Bar. They're 250 calories off the rip, right there.
You gotta take them out of the bag though. Those bags
you gotta put them in Ziploc.
Super loud.
Yeah.
Cliff Bar's anti-hunters too.
Really?
Just to the packaging's loud. I'm just talking shit.
Oh, I gotcha.
I'm not giving my snacks to Ross anymore because he fucking doesn't give them to me when I want them. Nope, you're gonna wait, Chris.
He rations you?
Yeah, literally, because I'll eat
it's
everything
not snack
in 2
time.
minutes.
Well, that's the other thing that's key. You can't have all your snacks by 9 o'clock. Like that.
Yeah, you can.
You shouldn't do that. Don't burn through everything. I try not to touch anything till like 11. Some mornings, if I know that I'm like feeling good, I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'll eat them earlier. But like, if I'm like, this is gonna be a long day, I'm like, I gotta make it to like 11, and then I'll start in on them. But
I heard someone. I think it was on Pat Guyette's podcast. He was saying when he does all day sits, he like rewards himself every 2 hours. Like I get a donut. I made it 2 hours, and then I have 2 more hours, and I get whatever.
The interesting thing is I think
that's how he does it.
The longer you sit, and I'm not talking about one day, but like day after day, it actually gets easier, I think, to sit all
That's
day.
what my buddy Brandon said. He's like, the first 3 days you want to hang yourself out of the tree, and he's like, then it's just they just click off.
Well, and the other thing is
deer start coming in, they move through the area.
Right, and the longer, I always say, if you're in the right spot, the longer you sit, the closer you are to having the opportunity that you've been waiting for. So it's almost like you're building momentum, and like we're getting closer, and like it's got to happen eventually. And so it's almost like it's weird because you've been sitting longer and you haven't seen many deer, but your confidence almost starts to like build, and it just plays mental games with you, and some weird things happen in your head. But
from previous knowledge of the area and historical trail cam picks, and just knowing like eventually he's going to come through this funnel or this pinch point or whatever you're hunting.
Yep. But, and especially if you believe in it and you feel confident, it's like, well, it's out for 5 days.
I've seen it the last 3 years.
Yeah.
This week they are hammering through here, and there's does in the area or whatever. Yeah.
But you got to believe in it. That's the important thing. And when I was younger and I wasn't as confident in like reading spots, reading deer, and understanding. I wasn't confident, and it was really tough for me to like feel confident and believe in the spot. And that's why I would like I said before, like the first time I sat all day in New Hampshire, I was like, oh my God, I sat all day. Because I just wasn't confident in anybody. I didn't believe in it. I didn't have enough reinforced experiences where I thought this was going to happen and did it, and then I was successful, right? I just didn't have a lot of success. So I was like, am I in the right spot? Am I doing this right? Is this like, am I wasting my time? But as you kind of gain experience and knowledge and start to learn about the area you're hunting and the deer you're hunting, you start to get really confident that what you're doing is the right move and that it's going to happen eventually. and it makes it a lot easier.
It's a fact.
For sure.
When would you, if you could hunt one day all day, when would you sit?
Where I am, I don't really travel around, but it seems that Thanksgiving week is
Yeah, it's a good
like
week.
is like when the now granted I haven't killed any of the deer I'm about to talk about, but as far as like what I've seen from cameras and stuff, that's when the big ones are just
Mature.
yeah, daylight, middle of the day. Like, that's when, I don't know, I think they just, like, hold out and wait. Like, yeah, go ahead, boys. Run those does around. Get them tired.
Yeah, that's
You know?
two things on that. I think you're pretty spot on with that. But when I was younger, when I started hunting Ohio, Ben Rising, who's not a guy that hunts in the Northeast, he hunts in Ohio, but he's maybe the most successful giant buck killer in the country right now. But he always used to tell me that the biggest deer start last and then end last when they're moving. So they start moving during the rut, later than the younger deer, and then they are still going when the younger deer have quit until December. And I think that's true. And I think that the early part of that Thanksgiving week or the end of the week before Thanksgiving, I think is the very best for the Northeast from what I've seen. I think the Midwest is slightly different, but we have a lot of data and evidence that says that, that 15th through 25th is the time frame, and then to narrow it down, like the 19th of November seems to be the very best day where everything is kind of peaks. That's based on a lot of trail camera data and a lot of science actually, which is kind of cool. So we kind of put a little study together and studied the rut timing in New Hampshire and concluded that the 19th is kind of the middle of it all for the bigger mature deer. If you're not into that, then maybe earlier or later could be great too. But for the biggest, oldest bucks in the woods, it seems like that's the time frame that is the most effective. And you'll see them middle of the day, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And to me, that's when I want to hunt, is when the deer are on, the big deer, old deer, on their feet the most hours of the day. Because then your probability of encountering one of those during daylight is the greatest.
Because I always was, first week in November.
Yeah,
and that's when you see
about that, right?
a lot of, and that's what was out there. But you do see a lot of action, but it's those like 2-year-olds.
Year and a half, 2-year-old bucks, yeah. In the Midwest, I think the first week can be really good.
Well, it's different.
Yeah,
everything's earlier out there.
I think it's a touch earlier.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Right, because
It has
fawns wouldn't survive.
They have an earlier spring. They have an earlier spring out there than we do. So I think it's just a touch later. But, you hear a lot about the first week. And the first week can be great, right? I mean, I've killed big bucks in New Hampshire the first week in November. But I think that,
if you want to go on like
week,
odds, like better odds.
And like for me, I can't take, hopefully at some point I'll be able to, but right now I can't take the whole month of November off and hunt. So I have to pick the week or two that I have the best odds. And so that's what I do. And, it makes sense to try to narrow that down. Like if you can hunt the whole month, hunt the whole month, like every hour, like that's better for sure. Cause any time in November it can be great, but, it seems like it really, really starts to pick up around the 15th, peaks like the 19th, 20th, stays really good till maybe the 23rd, 24th, 25th. And then you have and then it's actually, you get a lot of daylight
December
movement.
lull.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think there's much of that. I think it stays pretty good until through the first week of December, you get a lot of rut activity. It's not as consistent as maybe to late November, but you still get it. I mean, it's definitely worth being out there. I'd rather hunt the first week in December than the first week in November for rut.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure I would. Because I think those older deer are still doing it, where they're maybe not so much. I see a lot of stuff at night from the big deer on trail cameras, like November 1st through 10th. And then you'll see a flash of daylight over here and there, early morning, late at night. Yeah, that buck was on the 7th of November. I've killed a couple.
Was that in the morning?
Yeah, I've killed a couple of these bucks on November 7th, which is actually fair amount have been in the first week of November, but then there's been a good amount in the middle and then in the late November too. So as long as I think understanding like that's a big one, and like maybe for a lot of people it doesn't matter because they're not after like one super small percentage of the deer herd, which are like the old bucks. But if you are understanding what's going on during the rut, helps like your hunt strategy. I think obviously being in the woods, anything can happen with a gun, which is great. Like we can hunt with a gun in the Northeast for most of the November. So if you're in the woods with a gun and it's November, anything can happen at any point. But really trying to understand what's going on is super helpful, or at least it's helped me. So, and I think it's even helpful for tracking if you just track or still hunt, because there's certain dates in November. If you get in a buck track and he's like cruising for does, you're just never going to catch him.
No, you
right?
can't. You
so
can't.
Like, yeah. So
Physically can't.
Yeah, knowing what that buck's doing based on like the period on the rut is helpful to know. Like, if you get snow early November, you probably catch up to that buck. If you cut his track, if it's fresh, pretty damn good chance you're going to catch him, because he's probably not going to run all day. He might be up on his feet till 8, 9 o'clock, then bed down for most of the day. So you have a shot. But if you run into a buck on November 18th, he's going, like, you might never catch that buck.
And in the back of your head, like, you're like, I got to go, because what if he runs into a doe and it slows him up? But you're going like, this is going to be a long 15-mile day.
And they'll bed during that
never
time
gonna
period
see him.
too, right? It's not like every buck never stops during that. They do, but like the majority of them are like going.
Yeah.
But whereas you get to like that, late November into December, early December, now it's like, okay, they're not doing that all day, and now you have a chance of catching them again. So that's why we try to focus on a lot of stand hunting. Well, snow in early November is kind of a crapshoot in New England. Sometimes you might get it, but a lot of times you don't have it. So
and
it's
it'll last till 10 o'clock in the morning and then melt off.
Yeah, or like you get off, lower elevations and it's gone. But that's why we try to focus a lot of stand hunting when they're moving, like all hours of the day, miles, and then like late rut into like early post rut and into December. If we get snow, we'll track, because we think we have a pretty good chance. So we're kind of like catering our approach to whatever gives us the best opportunity within the season, whether it's bow hunting early or in a stand in mid-November, or tracking late season or whatever. We're just trying to maximize our chances and cater our approach and our tactics to that time period. And it seems to serve us pretty well.
Yep. Well, we're almost an hour 20 in. I did have one question though, because you filmed Zach tracking.
Yep.
How stoked was he about tracking? Because me and my buddies said that for the longest time. Like, if anybody of that group were to try tracking, it'd be Zach.
I told him that. When did I tell him? And he's not. I'm not going to say like I got Zach in a tree. I'm not saying that at all. It was on his radar, but he
knew about it.
Oh yeah. I talked to him about it like 2020 at the Public Land Challenge in PA. I was there with John and those guys, and we were talking, and I'm like, you have to track. I'm like, it suits you. It's just like perfect for you. Like, you have to track. It's like, I know, I've been thinking about it and I want to do it. I'm like, come up, let's do it. And, he gets super focused on certain things, which is why he's so successful. And he's like, super just tunnel vision and like zoning on success, and just like, and so he gets super, super focused on particular types of hunting. So this year he was like really, and he's been really on Ohio public land lately, which is awesome. But it wasn't happening great for him. So he like called up John, and I was like, all right, I want to try it. Let's do it. And we had snow. The best snow is in the Adirondacks, so that's where we ended up going. But yeah, he was fired up, and he was just like super, super excited to learn about it and just to experience it and try to relate. And that's the other thing that people don't realize about Zach is like, if you've never tracked before, but you've hunted deer in like every single type of environment, habitat in the country.
And the way he does.
Yeah, he's a lot better off than most people that when they start to track, because he understands deer behavior, how they relate to cover and topography and habitat and all that stuff, and just how they behave. Because there's not many people that are in the woods hunting more days a year than him. So, he's picked it up pretty quick, and like he's a super intuitive person that learns fast. So yeah, he was fired up though. He loved it, and he's like, I should have come out here before. I should have done this before this. So I'm sure he'll be back. I think, well, we'll see what he does, but I think he's planning to come back in 2022 again. So
Right on.
I think I bet he'll shoot one this year, knowing him.
Yeah. Well, and New York's good for that too, because they get a lot of that like lake effect that sprinkles over like, what is it, like a billion acres of public land or something? The Adirondack
The Adirondacks are like wild.
1.5
And I've known about
billion.
them. It's weird because I went to school in Syracuse, which is like, you drive northeast from Syracuse, you're in the Adirondacks, and I went up there fishing before, like once, but like I never hunted up there, and I didn't really grasp how big that is. The Adirondacks are like,
It's like two Vermonts or something. It's huge.
yeah, and there's no roads.
Yeah.
Like
That's a place
Actually,
you could actually legitimately, if you didn't know navigation, you could legitimately walk in circles.
And this is for people that don't know, and I think this is crazy, and I knew it was big, but I didn't know it was this big. I guess I never really paid too much attention, but the place one of the pieces that Ross and I hunted, and then I hunted with Zach the next weekend, was literally 15 miles from road to road. It was 15 miles of nothing between roads, and you're not finding that in Maine. You're not finding that in New Hampshire. You're not finding that in Vermont. You're going to find that maybe in like Montana or Wyoming or like Colorado or,
Maine's so cut off,
like
you
that.
couldn't
Yeah.
go 2 miles
right.
without hitting some sort of skid road
Yep.
from, it might be old, but
yeah,
it's
even
something.
in like the Green Mountain or the White Mountain National Forest in New Hampshire, Vermont, you'll get miles, but you're not going to get 15. So that was pretty awesome to see. I was like, Ross and I one day literally walked 8 miles straight trying to cut a track into the middle of that. We walked 8 miles in, straight in.
Yeah.
We're like, it's kind of a cool feeling to know you're 8 miles from probably another human or any road. Like it's huge. It's a huge place. So I don't want to say it's overlooked, but I'm surprised that more people from the Northeast don't go there and track. I think it's probably because the deer aren't as heavy and the tracks aren't as big. I think that's the two big things. And for a lot of people, that's important. I understand that, but man, it's an awesome place to go and experience if you want to get away. And like I hear so many stories, and it's happened to me. Like, not so much, but I know it happens to a lot of people. They just get cut off by other people's or roads in Maine, and it's like that kind of gets old quick, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It's cooler to go in a place where you're probably never going to see somebody. We saw one hunter when we were there the whole time, like in the woods, and it was like 100 yards from the truck, so not like like we're way out there. We didn't see anybody else the whole time. It's a cool place. They should log that, though. I wish they'd log that.
Yeah, it would help the wildlife out.
Oh man,
Same thing with Vermont.
I bet the deer would be way heavier on average.
Although
bigger.
they do, my buddy said they do got some of the Green Mountain National Forest flagged.
Really?
They're actually going to cut it. That's good to see.
They need to cut like 100,000 acres.
Yeah. little at a time.
Imagine the moose population and the deer you guys would have up there. Oh man,
Everything,
That's-
dude.
that's the
Birds,
one-
rabbits, everything.
that is the good one.
All of it.
Thing about Maine, maybe they may have gone over the top with logging, but for the most part, it's better than the Adirondacks. I'd rather have a Maine situation than the Adirondacks, and I think New Hampshire is probably a good mix of both, and then Vermont seems to skew towards the old mature growth timber that's just not super productive for wildlife. So
Yeah.
you gotta have to have a good mix, but yeah, that's Anyway, yeah, Zach had a great time. I think he'll be back. I think that style of hunting is growing in popularity. I think a lot of people are just kind of bored with the old Midwest, same old that they've seen and experienced 1,000 times, and people want to start to see. At least that's how I feel. Maybe that's not how everybody feels, but
No, I think that's the case.
yeah, been fortunate to travel all over and hunt whitetails kind of everywhere. And the Midwest is awesome to experience for sure, especially the rut. Like, it's a great time, but like, you know, after a while, it's kind of like, all right, that was cool. It's challenging for sure, but there's nothing like trying to kill a big woods buck in New England. I don't think there's a bigger challenge. Although I think some of the western states, like up north, would be a good challenge. There's some giant mountains and tracts of woods out there that eventually I want to get out and do. I've hunted out there for whitetails, but I mostly stayed in like the river bottoms. But I'd love to hunt some of those mountain bucks in like Idaho or Washington State or like northwest corner of Montana, because there's some big ones and there's some giant woods and kind of more or less similar to up here, I'd imagine. But they got wolves up there, so that's one of the big problems. And cougars and grizzlies, so those deer are tough out there.
I won't be going on that trip.
Chris, like, here's the camera.
Yeah.
Take it with you.
So, if anybody wants to see more of you guys' stuff, plug away.
Just look up Just Hunt Club on YouTube. Lots of content there, and we're not slowing down anytime soon.
Got a website? Grab yourself a hat.
Yeah. Oh, so we're also doing
some merch.
Yeah, we got that on there too if you want some merch. But we're doing a turkey package giveaway, and it actually just came out tonight. I don't know when this is going to come out, but we announced it tonight. So we're giving away, and this is open to pretty much anybody. So we have people from all over the country that watch, but we're giving away to guys in New Hampshire. This may not be a big deal, but some guy down in, Mississippi that's trying to get his Grand Slam, it is. We're going to give away a turkey hunt in New Hampshire with John and I. We're going to give away a Mossberg turkey gun with that hunt, and you can choose whatever Mossberg turkey gun you want, shotgun. That's the first place prize, and the second place is a Mossberg's new 940 12-gauge turkey gun that we're giving away too. So go to our website, justhuntclub.com, sign up, and we're going to announce the winners. I think kind of coincides with our first live content or semi-live content of this spring, which should be late March, early April. Yeah. And then you can pick a date you want to come hunt New Hampshire, pick a shotgun you want, and be on your way. So
that's sick.
Yeah, it'll be cool. We're
excited.
Can I sign
up?
It. Sure. Sure, anybody can. So, yeah, that'll be fun. We did that. We gave away a 410 last year that worked out well. I know the guy was actually from Vermont, and I think he killed a bird with it the first spring, so that was neat.
Oh yeah.
And this year will be a gun of your choice. So, pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Well, fellas, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me.
Thanks for coming down.
Hopefully, everyone enjoyed it and got something out of it. And now we wait 3 months. Well, you don't wait 3 months.
Yeah,
we wait 3 months.
What are you waiting
5
3
weeks.
months for?
Gobblers.
Oh, okay. Hopefully I win the Derby next weekend again.
Hey, get yourself a long weekend, buy a tag, and head down south. Go do some driving. It's a fun time.
You got any
West
family?
Virginia.
You got any
No.
family in West
Yeah,
Virginia?
West
I got some
Virginia.
family in West Virginia.
My grandmother's, well, she gone, but she's from
they-
West Virginia.
Yeah, I
Where?
got some family down in Odd, West Virginia.
What's their name?
Well, their last name's Whitakers. A few
Yeah.
cousins of mine.
Yeah, you guys, after you watch some of our videos, go check out. Just type in the Whitakers from Odd, West Virginia into your YouTube search bar, and you'll get some pretty wild content.
Pretty
for some
crazy.
Chris's
Appalachian
kinfolk.
folk.
Pretty crazy,
Pretty
man.
fun.
All right, man.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
No problem.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure and come back and join us every other Monday with a brand new episode. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure and leave a review. And you can find me on YouTube at Northeast Hunt and Film. Once again, thanks for listening.